Hey folks, Gary here with Paramount Tactical Solutions, your source for guns, gear, training, and tactics, all brought to you by real world experience. So in today's video, we're going to be covering the item that I personally use more than almost anything else that I own that is firearm related. And by the way, if your life depends on your firearms and or accessories, this is one item that you can't afford to be without. So watch this intro and we'll see you here back in a second. So let's jump right into this. What we're going to be covering are the Fix-It-Sticks toolkits. And these two particular kits are the ones that I recommend. They offer other kits, but I think these are the two that give you the most value and are the most versatile and most useful in field conditions. And that's what these really are meant to address. These toolkits were specifically designed for firearms and firearms accessories. And we're going to get into that and how useful they actually are. Now, just to give you a little background, we are a dealer on these, but I will tell you where this started was about 6 months ago. A friend of mine actually gifted me this kit, which is the Works kit. And I'd seen the Fix-It-Sticks toolkits in the past. And look, folks, if you don't know anything about me, I'm a former 18 Bravo weapons sergeant. What I do on a Special Forces ODA is fix guns, right? So, and currently with Paramount, we do a lot of gunsmithing work. So I'm constantly using this. And then on a range, I'm constantly fixing students' guns. I spend more time than I would like to admit fixing guns or reattaching things that have fallen off of guns because they weren't attached properly the first time. But the reality is, especially in field conditions, if you're law enforcement or military, you're really wrong if you don't have one of these kits, because these kits are going to cover you for 99% of anything that's going to happen out there in field conditions, where you can get that gun back up and running very quickly in a very small compact kit that you're actually going to carry. I have several $1,000s worth of gunsmithing tools over there that I almost never use. They're a pain to drag to the range. This is what I bring, and this has, so far, I can't think of one situation other than, you know, maybe like a stuck casing or something like that, where this kit hasn't been able to address that situation. So very robust, very versatile, and it covers you for almost everything that you're ever going to run into. So let's get right into this. So let's talk about these two different kits. So this is a smaller kit. This kit right here is the Works kit, and I'll tell you right now, it costs you 250 bucks. It's an investment. But what I was so surprised at when it came to getting this kit was the quality of these. And I'd seen these in the past and they looked really handy, but I also saw that they were expensive, and they are, especially this kit. This one's only 100 bucks, but this kit was 250 bucks. But once I got my hands on it and used it, I saw where the value was. And while this is not cheap, the quality and the value that you get out of it, I think, is well worth it. I think it's a really good value overall. So, and again, you can determine that for yourself once we get into what you actually get. The quality of these tools really are astounding. And to me, you know, I'm kind of whether it's gun tools or, you know, tools, mechanic tools, you know, I'm kind of a tool nut, right? And these are really almost the kind of the snap-on of gunsmithing tools. They really are. I mean, the quality on these things is pretty astounding. And again, we'll get into that more in depth. So let me show you exactly what you're getting when you order one of these kits. So let's start off with the Works kit. This is what it looks like. Very nice box. Not that you're going to keep the box, not that that even matters. But let's jump into here. So as you pull this kit out, this is what you got. A very nice compact tool pouch. It has the Molly style straps that you can attach to different things. This particular piece right here that is detachable, super handy, and we're gonna come back to that in a second as well. But as you open this thing up, all right, you know, that's what you get. And I'm gonna tell you right now that every single one of these bits, so these are the primary bits that you're gonna need for any sort of gunsmithing work, right? It has a variety of the hex bits that you're going to need, has a variety of the Torx bits that you're going to need, the most commonly used bits out there. And again, I can't think of one time where I had to work on a gun, and I've worked on pistols, rifles, all the accessories, mounting hardware, different things, rails, things that have fallen off. And again, I've been using this for at least 6 months during our busiest training season, where we have, you know, are dealing with hundreds of students showing up with different types of guns in different conditions, different states of repair and disrepair. And this has been my go-to, and it's been able to fix a lot of that. And we'll go through these individually, but again, the quality on these really is astounding, and the smart engineering. That's the one thing that I really like about these is when you use this, and the more that you use these, you realize somebody put a lot of time and thought into how these were designed and how these were going to be used. And it was a gun person, right? Not a tool person that just designed these. So let's start off with the T-handle that you get. This is, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, you know, I'd much prefer a screwdriver type of bit holder. And I was completely wrong. Has this little ring here in the middle that moves freely, which ends up being super handy. So I can quickly screw in those loose screws until we get to a point where it's tighter. And if you look here on the end, on the T-handle here, we actually have 2 additional bit holders, right? So what's great about this is the fact that, number one, if I need to put additional torque on an item to either loosen it or to tighten it down, I can. It allows you to do that. The other thing that I've done in the past is when I'm using a couple different size bits, I'm using them out there. I don't want them just laying somewhere where they can get easily lost. So I use one and then I'll take that out, I put it up here, and I'm using the other one. So that's another handy way, and it keeps you from losing your bits. The other thing that I love about this kit is the fact that before I put this away, it just takes a quick glance to see if anything's actually missing, right? I can see my T-handle's not there right now, but if I had removed any of our bits or any of our torque limiters, you can see that immediately, because that is the struggle, right? Is just keeping the stuff that you've already paid for. That's something I'm constantly losing tools, or people are borrowing tools and you don't notice they're gone until you go to use them again. And that's what is nice about this kit. It keeps you from losing those tools, and it's nice and compact. Now let's go through what you actually get in this set. And I'm gonna put up a whole list, you know, right along here so you can see everything that you actually get and what those are actually used for. If you're not experienced in gunsmithing or working on guns a lot of the time, some of these bits may look unfamiliar to you, but I'm gonna tell you about them here, and again, I'm gonna list them so that you know you can refer to it later. And of course, you can always go to the Fix-It Sticks website. They have them on there as well. So what we have here is a variety of bits. We have flatheads, we have the most common size Phillips, the most common size hex bits right here, and then also the most common size Torx. And again, I haven't come across a situation where I needed to go find an additional bit when working on a gun. So they did a good job being very inclusive in this particular kit. On here, on some of the specialty tools that you get, let's start on this side. So on this side, we have several different specialty bits, and on this particular one right here is your spanner wrench for removing a buttstock on an AR type platform. Right here is actually a cleaning tool. All right, this is actually for a scraper tool for cleaning your bolt carrier group and your firing pin for an AR platform. Right here, we have kind of a dental pick type tool. You have a dental pick type tool. This is actually a plastic non-marring punch. This is specifically designed for removing the pins on your polymer type pistols, right? Your Glocks, M&Ps. I mean, most pistols today or have a polymer type frame. And the last thing you want to do is use a punch that has a beveled edge that widens out, wedges out, and then you start widening out that hole in that polymer. And this allows you to remove those pins, those plastic pins, and even some of the metal pins without marring up your gun. Here is a steel. Here's an actual steel punch. Looks like a 1/8 or 5/32. And then we have a toothbrush end. We have right here. Right here is an extension. You can actually use that with these two rods right there. Here we have a brass carbon scraper, so you can actually scrape off the carbon off different parts of a gun without marring or removing some of the finish on some of those firearms. So again, use that judiciously. Here we have, this is super handy. We use this all the time, and there's never one around when you need it, but this is a front sight tool. So when you are zeroing those iron sights on a AR-15 style platform, you're gonna need one of these. And again, this is one of those things that you can never find when you do need it. Over here on the opposite side, we have a universal choke wrench for all your shotguns that can remove and tighten down on your chokes. Here you have a little pry bar type tool. This has been handy on different occasions. And then even within that, you have some cutouts that allow you to use those for removing nuts of various sizes. Right here is a tool that I use quite a bit. This is our Glock front sight tool, all right, our front sight wrench. It works really well. It's very tight fitting, unlike a lot of the ones that are out there. I've ordered different Glock sight tools and they never quite fit perfectly. So therefore you end up rounding out the edges on that front sight retainer screw. So this keeps that from happening, and it has a little magnetic tip in the middle so that you actually retain it and it doesn't go falling. I've done that in the range too, where I've removed that front sight, and then next thing I know, that little nut goes falling into the rocks, and it's a bad day, because then you got to explain to the client that you lost their front sight retaining. Been there, done that, don't want to do it again. Here we have a 1911 bushing tool, handy if you're shooting 1911s. And right here we have our 1/2-inch nut driver, which you're going to use all the time. That 1/2-inch nuts are what you're going to use most of the time when you're mounting optics and things like that to a Picatinny rail. If the hardware is kind of a nut style retainer on there, that's the size that it's typically going to be. Now let's get into some really cool items that we have here that I personally love a lot. Here we have our torque limiters, and these are color coded. This one's the 15-inch pounds. This is our 25-inch pounds. This one is 45-inch pounds, and this one is 65-inch pounds. Folks, these are the most commonly used torque settings that you're going to need for mounting optics and many other things. So it's super nice to have these. It's super nice to have them all in one kit, and it's also nice the fact that this isn't one of those. I'll tell you right now, when you're dealing with adjustable, and I have several different torque, adjustable torque wrench type things, they're not nearly as precise as something like this. And it's nice to be able to throw this on there, crank it down, and you can see here as I'm using this, once you get to a certain torque level, it's going to start clicking, and that's when you know it, and it's also going to quit turning. So they're pretty much foolproof. You're not going to over torque the parts on your weapon, and that's really what's important. And this is a great travel kit. I actually just went on a trip overseas, and I brought this with me. I actually use this to fix some camera stuff. So again, it's not just for weapons. It's a really nice, handy, compact toolkit that you can use for a lot of different situations. Anywhere that you're going to use any type of screwdriver or driver set, this is something you can easily take with you, throw in your backpack, and use while you're out and about. So super handy. Now let's get to this piece right here. This is something that is super cool, super smart, and I use quite a bit. This pad right here, all right, this is a magnetic pad. Now again, when you're out there working on your firearms in the field, the last thing you want to do is start losing screws and small parts and everything else. And I've used this many times. It's super handy. So this is magnetic, and it works just like a magnetic bowl. So when you're not using something, you can set it right there. It's a very strong magnet. I got some different pieces of hardware. Here we can put different screw sizes, some washers, some locking washers. Again, it's one of those things that's nice to have so that you're not losing parts out there. And it's just, again, another piece that's really well thought out. So overall, I love this kit. I definitely recommend this. We do carry this kit. If you're already thinking about buying one, we want to take care of you. So we appreciate you watching these videos with us. We appreciate the support. YouTube limits our reach. There's no doubt about that. They don't demonetize us, but where we'd be making, several dollars per 1,000 views, we're making pennies on that because of our content. And they even write it on there. They even let us know in our analytics that I think it's called limited or something like that, because we're covering things that address firearms. So any support that you give us is really appreciated. Now, if you go to our website, we have a YouTube specific code, and that is Liberty 1776, lowercase, no spaces, Liberty 1776, and you'll get a discount on this and just about everything else on the website. So we appreciate the support there. All right, so jumping right into this other kit. Again, this kit is $250. It's going to cost you a lot less once you use that code, but this other kit is $100. And this is the all-in-one torque driver kit. Again, very compact, but still very robust for its size. You do get your T-handle, you get your 1/2-inch nut driver, you get the most commonly used hex and torque settings. You have a Phillips tip over there, and you got a flat head right there. The biggest difference between this and the work kit is you have obviously less bits, less of some of those specialized accessories, but also on the torque limiter, it is kind of an all-in-one, right? So what's cool about this, and you can see here as I use it, basically if I'm going to 45, this is what it looks like. If I'm going to 55, this is what it looks like. If I'm going to 65, this is what it looks like. But what's cool about this too, is if I need to go to 50, I basically go in between 45 and 55. When you're using those in-between numbers, it's probably not perfectly exact, but again, it'll get you darn close. And it is a great all-in-one kit to have where it's gonna cover you for a lot of things. There are many times when I can tell you right now, this wouldn't have covered me for everything, but you know, I'm a little different than most people. I'm working with a much wider variety of people and weapons in different situations. So I will tell you, for a lot of people out there, this is going to be a great addition and will cover you for most of what you're doing. And this kit right here is $100, very compact, very nice kit still, very robust for its size. And again, if you use Liberty 7076 on a coupon code, it's going to cost you a lot less money. And again, we appreciate the business in that. So just a quick review. The point of all this is that without a doubt, folks, you know, Murphy, the law is real. Anything that can happen will happen. And I've seen it out in the field on multiple combat deployments where guns have went down in many different ways. I've seen rails fall off, optics fall off, and this covers you for all those incidents. And that's what this is all about. You know, understanding that your guns and accessories are going to fail at some point, and being able to have the tools on hand that can fix them, get those life-saving devices up and running once again, is what it's all about. So this will help you be more prepared, and you know, that's what we want to help you do. And again, I just can't tell you how much I really do like these things personally, how much I use these things personally. They are just a great addition to any of your toolkits. And honestly, this is going to replace a lot of tools. You're going to find yourself carrying this around and not worrying about, you know, some big kit that you currently have. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that was informative. But, you know, as always, guns and gear is great, but what we're really about is training. So go to ParamountTactical.com, go check out our website, check out our upcoming courses. We have handgun courses coming up, medical courses, long range, carbine courses. We'd love to have you come out. We'd love to meet you in person. We'd love to do some training with you. Check out the other gear that we carry on our website. Everything that we carry are items that we've personally tested, we use, we believe in, and we can stand and look our customers in the eye and say, hey, this is what we believe is the best for this particular genre. That's what we're about. And again, you have Liberty 7076 as a coupon code, so you can get things a lot cheaper. So until next time, stay armed, stay ready, and we'll talk to you soon.